So this is going to be my Padlet creation for module number 6, the gender module. And I'm probably going to ramble a little bit, but I'm more so going to talk about the feelings and ideas that I've had after reading the module. So I was born in the 80s, and I myself consider myself a cisgender male, do male stuff, drink beer, watch sports, fighting, lift heavy shit, right? Um, I was raised in a conservative Christian household, which kind of shaped a lot of what I thought were my beliefs and what I thought I knew to be true about the world. It isn't until that I've gotten older and stepped outside myself a few times and put myself in classes like this and learned other perspectives that I realized that maybe the beliefs that I've had for a long time aren't true. And I never questioned why I believed what I believed. So we live in a much different time than we did when I was growing up. We live in a much more progressive time. So through reading this module and thinking about my own perspective on certain things, kind of come to the realization that I've never had to think about really if there are more than two genders. I was raised in a Christian home and they taught us Adam and Eve, male, female, that's it, right? So I went with that. And now in this day and age, we're much more accepting. And so trans people actually have a voice now, and they're more out in the spotlight. People are more aware of it, and it's a huge issue. They talk about it on the House floor, talk about it in all over the news, anything, internet. It's out there. It's right. It's mainstream. And with that has come a lot of people that support it, but there's also come a lot of backlash. And I'd never really thought about it before, but a lot of the backlash I hear is from people talking about, oh, where weak times create weak people, or easy times create weak people. And now, since we live in such an easy day and age where all of our basic needs are met for the most part, most people have food, shelter, right? They're comfortable. We don't have to work from sun up to sundown anymore because we don't have street lights, right? It's just a different day and age. So a lot of the backlash that I hear is people saying, oh, we never saw this before. And now we're seeing trans people and people that are non-binary because life is so easy now. People are bored and they want to do something that's trendy, and they want to feel special and like they're different, right? And I heard a lot of dudes and just conservative people talk about their pussies and soy boys, and they want to be special, and just all kinds of vitriol, right? Using all kinds of pejoratives to label these people. Because it doesn't affect me, I've seen all of this. I've seen the different sides. I live in the world, so it's all around me, but I've never really sat down and thought about how I personally feel about the situation. So I think that a lot of the arguments that the people use to argue against trans people are flawed. They talk about a time back in like the old west where, oh, you had to wake up at crack of dawn, you had to work just to live, blah blah blah. And since the times were so hard, there must not have been trans people back then. There might not have been gay people because they weren't, as out there. And we were so busy working to try to survive. Nobody had the time to want to think, oh, they're different, right? Which is flawed. The more that I've thought about it, I've come to the realization there's always been people that are different. Just like Durkheim says, we're all individuals. So I think I read the article that throughout history there's many other cultures or many other different societies that have acknowledged more than two genders. This isn't something new. Maybe here in America in this day and age, right? But it really isn't something new, but we're acting like it is. Where I'm coming from, I'm starting to think that, yeah, life was hard back then. And people didn't have a lot of free time on their hands to think about how they feel and who they think that they are. And also, there weren't as many examples like there are. It's prevalent today. On TV, internet, you can turn it on and see people that are like you, or you consider to be like you, and you have an example, right? Maybe it just wasn't as prevalent back then. They didn't have an example. And if you never, even if maybe you have the feeling inside of you that you may be different, if you don't have an example of what that is, you might not be able to articulate to yourself what you're feeling. Long story short, I'm realizing that a lot of the beliefs that I have, even though I didn't really know that I had those beliefs, maybe aren't true. I was in downtown Willow Glen the other day, and I saw two young people, and they were walking past me. One presented as a girl as far as clothing and appearance, and then there was another person that was, I would say, fairly androgynous, kind of presented as a masculine face, but with the crop top. And I was looking and I was like, people are who they are. And I'm glad that we live in the day and time that we are in now, where a person has the ability to present how they want to. And for people that use the argument, oh, this is a trend, people are using it as a fashion, they're just saying they're this or that because it's the cool thing to do. I don't buy into that, especially now that I've thought about it. If you gave me the opportunity as a cisgendered male to present in another way, like wear women's clothes, blah, 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 just because I have the option available to me, because that's, because we live in a more understanding time, I wouldn't. Just because I know that I could, I wouldn't, because how I feel about myself as a dude, regular dude. And it just doesn't make sense to me that it just seems like a super dumb argument that say that people are doing it just for play because they can. Any man who is a cisgendered man, they're not gonna do it just because. It's not a costume you put on. Either you feel that way or you don't. I don't know. That was just long-winded, but I'm glad that we live in the day and the time that we do. And I appreciate this class and a lot of the readings that we're doing because it's helping me to step outside myself and question some of the beliefs that I have that I didn't even know that I had, just because that's what I was raised, how I was raised.